BetOnline is your number one source for all your summer sports this season. MLB, golf, NBA, NHL, all your playoff needs are handled in one place. BetOnline. Latest odds and lines, including the most up-to-date team matchups for all your favorite sports. It's all right there at BetOnline. Sit down and head to the website today to get in on the action, or use your mobile device. BetOnline, where the game starts.
I hope you're ready to have your mind blown with the greatest health and fitness information on the planet.
Yes, bitch!
Let's get into round 2 of Q&A. Thank you to everybody who has anything to do with my podcast or my Patreon. By the way, if you're interested, I have the top tier, which means I will work for you. I'm your personal trainer through and through, and I enjoy it and I believe in it. If you want to join at the low level, just to say thank you to me, all of you, anyone who's at my Patreon who donates money, essentially, like, I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you to you for downloading or listening to this podcast. What happened to your face a while back? From W. Drew. Yeah, this stuff, it's gotten way better. I fell asleep, and I have a history of a vasovagal response where I pass out. I've had it a couple times when I've had crazy fluctuations with my blood pressure, and sometimes blood sugar too will lead to that. But I went to sleep, this is about 3 weeks ago, and I woke up in the emergency room. My wife said, this is from, I don't remember a goddamn thing. My wife said she was in the middle of the night, she was sleeping, and she hears in the living room. She thought it was one of the dogs or cats like fur balling. And then she realized it wasn't, and she walked in and she said I was just face down on the floor. I fractured my face right here. Luckily, by the grace of God, I didn't compromise my eye. My eye will be okay. I don't have to have it replaced or something. And I don't have to have any surgeries, but God, scary. And I just got results neurologically. I don't have a medical condition that I wasn't aware of, which, thank you God. But at the same time, it's also a little concerning. It's like, well, what did happen? Gloria. Holy Magro. But that's what happened to my face. I fractured it. Kevin Gilbert. How often should you adjust your macros, and should you always be in a deficit during your cut, or should you adjust between deficit and maintenance throughout? Well, great questions. How often should you adjust your macros? Never, or every couple weeks if you want. I don't adjust my macros very much at all. Like once a year. Right now, I'm in a deficit, and I'm leaning out a little bit. My carbs are pretty much only right around my workout, and the rest of the time, I'm kind of just meat and a little bit more fat towards the end of the day. When I'm not trying to lose body fat, my carbs will go up, and my meal frequency will go up, and I will spread out carbs throughout the day. That's me. That's after 20-something years of doing it and kind of finding a nice, comfortable place. If you are really trying to make a transition, you might have to work with it. You might have to change up a lot until you get to a point where you're like, I can do this. I can game this, Certain things shouldn't really change ever, like your calories or your protein. The calories should change only with your goal. Deficit for losing body fat and surplus for gaining muscular mass. And then you kind of pay attention to, well, maybe the surplus is a little too much. Maybe this deficit's a little too much. But besides that, you just find what works for you. Now, if that means you have to change up every couple of weeks, sure. I certainly did that in my mid-20s. But you don't have to change very frequently if you find stuff that works for you and is sustainable. Do you always have to be in a deficit if you're losing body fat? Yes, if you're overweight. If you're a guy and you're over 20% body fat, yes, just stay in a deficit. If you're a girl and you're over 20-something percent, 25, let's say. These are rough numbers. Yes, you just got to be in a deficit because you got a lot to go. People grossly underestimate how much muscle mass they're gaining and grossly underestimate how much fat they're losing. I can't tell you how many times either. I don't want to rip on people. Here's one that involves a professional athlete who's fucking awesome. It's a professional athlete, so he doesn't really need me to protect his ego. But there was an NFL player after winning the Super Bowl. He in the Super Bowl parade took his shirt off, and like all the men's websites and magazines are like, "Look at his 6% body fat." I was like, dude, he's lucky if he's 16. People way overestimate how lean they are, and you just got to keep cutting. Now, if you're shredded, you're already lean, or you're someone who's maintained a certain level of leanness over a long period of time, yeah, you can start exploring reverse dieting, where you add in. You can even be in a small surplus and still keep your body fat at the same level, or even lose a little. But that you have to already be lean to do that. Advice for a female going into a man's job, firefighter. Also, how to be able to do pull-ups quickly in order to pass a physical test. Congratulations, that's awesome, and I commend you on your choice to do it. I mean, who can argue that that's an amazing way to spend your life and to make a living? Fighting fires is amazing. So congratulations, and I seriously commend you. As far as like advice for you as a woman, just in general, socially, don't ever say, yeah, but I'm going to do it this way because I'm a girl. Even if you do it shittier than the guys, just be like, hey, I'm a firefighter. Don't fucking cut me any extra slack. Just be, obviously embrace being female. I'm getting into weird territory with gender stuff, but I'm not saying deny your feminine power. What I am saying is that guys, and I consider myself kind of a macho man who runs with mostly macho men in gyms, jiu-jitsu academies, Muay Thai gyms. I don't typically hang with like hipster guys. I'm hanging with macho men. Lots of firefighters, cops, military, construction workers and stuff. We really don't give a shit that you're a girl in a positive and a negative way. Meaning we're not like constantly thinking about like, oh, I wonder if she's going to be okay. And when a woman proves that like, I don't have to treat you any different because you're a woman, that boosts you up in their eyes 1,000,000%. Obviously, there's a line to draw. Don't piss in front of them. You can use your own my point being is like culturally, just never. And even if let's say you can't carry this part of the hose the same way that most of the guys can, fine. But don't be like, guys, girl over here. Just give it your best shot and always, keep the job the preeminent kind of thing that you're worried about. As far as pull-ups and strength specifically. Yes. Frequency. If you have any familiarity with my podcast, you know that I'm not usually like a guy who's like, oh, train more often. I say train better and usually train less. But when it comes to pull-ups, chin-ups, stuff like that, like real, highly repeatable movement, you can gain a lot by doing suboptimal levels of intensity, but do it every goddamn day. Go out now, do max level pull-ups. Even if it's, let's say it's 4, you can do 4 full pull-ups, okay? And that's everything you got. Start with 2 and do 3 sets of 2 every day for 1 week. The next week, do 2 sets of 2 and 1 set of 3 every day. Next week, do 2, 3, 3 every day. Next week, 3, 3, 3, and so on. And that level, with that slow progression with the increased frequency, is the best way I've found with highly repeatable skills. Grip training, pull-ups, push-ups. These are calves stuff, highly repeatable, super like adaptable muscle areas. You don't want to do that with deadlifts, but you could do that with the pull. And the Chin Up God program, I stole that from Martin Burkhan. It really works. How many times do you poop a day? Usually twice, sometimes 3. But I never, not since drug days, have I gone a day without shitting.
You get that hat, Mike. It's so dope. I know it is. Melon. MELIN. You're out here on your farm in Texas in the humidity, and your head gets funky, but your hat won't. Melon's got you covered. 5 times more durable than any other hat on the market. Waterproof. You drop it while you're fishing. It floats right there on the water. You can wash it when it gets funky and it'll come right back into shape, just like the day you got it. The most comfortable hat on the market, plus they got tons of different styles and fits. They even have a fit finder right there on the website. They got snapbacks. They come in classic, regular, extra large. Melon very, very rarely offers discounts, but right now you can get 30% off. So head to the website, melin.com/Mikey. Get yourself 30% off. Elevate your hat game and don't let it get in the way of your lifestyle. Melon hats, melon.com/Mikey.
Brian Liu. I know that guy. I trained jiu-jitsu with that dude. How do you deal with poop heads? Well, here's my best advice with that. Always establish first that you're not the poop head. What do I mean by that? I have friends, especially coming from like very avant-garde forms of rock music and, you know, radio and entertainment. I have a lot of friends that get on the wrong side of police. And coming from an incredibly diverse world, where like blonde hair, blue eyed white guy was like the least thing that I saw represented in my life. I have a lot of people that either friends or not, just acquaintances that are very anti-cop. And they're like, and then this happened, and then the cop said this, and I sometimes will go like, fuck, whoa. But I have to be honest with you. Especially since I got sober, I deal with cops a lot, and they're fucking delightful. And so before I go down the line of, wow, man, we should really examine your relationship with cops, dude. You know, because this guy's presenting his idea. I go like, you're a criminal who's committing crimes all day, and that guy was pretty reasonable at first, and it looks like you fucking pushed the envelope. So make sure you're not that guy when you're talking about, I've identified this person as being a poop head. You know what I mean? It's like, since I became someone who's not a daily criminal, it's unbelievable, but cops are great to me. They really are. Yeah, I got pulled over for speeding the other day. And this chick, female police officer, she was so nice about it. You know? And I told her, I was like, wow, I'm sorry. Irresponsible of me. I didn't recognize how dramatically the mile per hour limit here had changed. And I'm sorry. I was just kind of daydreaming, listening to my tunes. And she went, okay. And she gave me my stuff. She's like, I'll let you off with a warning, but, you know, come on, open your eyes a little bit. It can get dangerous out here. And I was like, oh, thank you, officer. You know, it happened all, you know why? Because I was like, yeah, wow. She's a really tough job, and I probably didn't make her job any tougher. And so she goes, and so my point being is like, you can extrapolate that to not just police officers, but like a lot of times when, you know, there's that chick or that friend of yours, that male friend of yours who's like, I fuck women. I fuck guys. And there's no good guys out there. It's like, yeah, well, are you sure your relationships aren't making you feel that way because of you? Or is it because of all guys? Or is it that you are a fucking miserable bitch? Or you're a fucking philandering asshole? You know, your ex-wife exists, your ex-wife's that. I was like, you cheated on her all the time. And you rarely made any time to like listen to her talk. So does it really hurt? You know what I'm saying? I always, that's an edict I've adopted, is like always, well, let's make sure you're not the one pushing this envelope. After that, I say, how do I deal with shitheads? I don't. I let them talk, and it goes in one ear and out the other. As opposed to when people who are fucking 35% body fat start giving me advice on fitness stuff, I don't go like, well, actually, you blah, blah, blah. I go like, oh, interesting. Yeah. And then I go about my day. And that's self-preservation. That's my best advice, dude. All right, let's get down to business. An active lifestyle can cause hemorrhoids. That sucks.
Lucky for you, they're south of the border. South of the border is a holistic approach to dealing with the affected area. Go to southoftheborder.com, use code AHOLE, AHOLE, get yourself 30% off. That's pretty rad. And this is not an area of your body you want to put bad ingredients in. Make sure you turn to south of the border. Southoftheborder.com, code AHOLE.